This is our finished project. We're going to be making a gumball machine that is a little bit 3D, a little bit shiny, and based on looking at a real-life gumball machine. Let's take a look at a real-life thing. This is a gumball machine, or, well, in this case it's a jelly bean machine, but you've probably seen these before at restaurants or in the mall. And machines like this have different parts. There's a globe that has the candy inside. There's usually a top to that globe. And then there's the base or the body, which has a faceplate, and it has a hole for the coins to go in and a knob. And the way this machine works is that you put a coin in, you turn the knob, and a candy comes out, usually at the bottom. Mine was on its side, so it was a little silly. So usually it comes out here at the bottom. So there's like a little tray here for the candy to come out. So this is our gumball machine that we're going to be basing our project off of. We're going to make gumballs that go in the globe. We're going to make a top, and we're going to make a base and a faceplate. When you have your paper plate, you'll want to make sure that it is the eating side down. This side has like a shiny, slippery texture on it. This side is more of a paper feel. This is the side we want to do our art on. So our name goes on the back, on the inside with a Sharpie. When that's done, you are ready to start painting. We're going to be doing some dot art paint today. To do dot art, you want to open the tool and you want to give it a little shake if it wasn't shook up before, and then you'll press down and do a dot. Now, sometimes when we first start using these, just like you saw, it didn't come out right away, but you can do a couple dots in the same paint and make it work. Then from then on, it should work okay. You are going to be kind of pressing down that 3D space when you first are starting, especially around the edges. We want to fill our gumball machines, but we want to fill it in a realistic way. What does that mean? It means that we are not having gumballs all the way up to the very top unless we plan to fill the gumball machine all the way up to the top. Because gumballs, just like everything else in the world, are affected by gravity. So we want to make sure that you are spacing them out with your colors so they have a little chance to dry. Now be careful. I'm noticing that as I'm kind of going fast here, I'm ending up with some that are looking wonky. And if that happens to you, you can have like a giant gumball in your machine, or you can look like several of them together. So try to make sure you're going down and up, nice and straight, because we're not making weird shapes. We're trying to make circles. When you're happy with your gumball machine, it's time to put it on the drying rack and let it dry. It's time to draw your gumball machine body with the lid, the body, and the machine part. So we're going to start with the lid, and if we look at the edge here, that makes a pretty flat line. And so I'm going to go to the very bottom of my paper and use that flat line as the flat line. If I show you the way this looks on the very edge of it, do you see how this makes a bump in? If you see that bump in, we want to draw that. So we're going to take our silver pencil and we're going to make a little bump in near the bottom on both sides because we want it to be symmetrical, the same on both sides. Then we're going to take our pencil and we're going to make this curving line we see here at the top. We want a nice big curve coming in to make the lid for our gumball machine. And the same thing on the other side, curving in. From there, when I lift this up, there's also like a little bump or a knob up here, and that's where the screw goes in to hold that on. I have this resting on something so it doesn't roll around. I'm going to bring this in, kind of in a flat line, and then I'm going to have that little screw or the knob bump right there. That looks really good. So now I've got my shape for the lid of my gumball machine. Now I need to make the machine part of the gumball machine, and this also has some flat edges. So I'm going to go ahead and turn my whole paper upside down. This I'm going to leave upside down. Ooh, you know what? This kind of had an edge on there, so I'm going to go ahead and draw that line. If you hadn't done it, go ahead and do that. All right, I'm going to flip the whole paper upside down because we're going to cut these apart later, so it doesn't matter if one's upside down and one's right side up. That's fine. I want to notice the edge of this machine. You see how it's like a little line? And then it goes in, and then up, and then in, like a little stair ladder. So I'm going to do that on the edge of my paper. I'm going to take a little step in, up, in again. And because it's symmetrical, it's the same on this side, I'm going to do it again. On the other side, I'm going to pretend that this is the same. In, up, in. Hopefully it's about the same height. That looks pretty good. And I am going to go up now, but I don't want to go perfectly up and down. I want to make it a little bit diagonal. So I'm going to make it a little bit diagonal. Line coming up. Then I'm going to reach the top of my machine. Line going over. Same thing over here. Line going up at a diagonal line. All right. There's the body of my machine. From here, I need to make the big shapes that I see. I see this shape. What shape is that? Did you say a rectangle? Because yeah, it's totally a rectangle. I'm going to draw a big rectangle. And look, it goes almost all the way to the bottom of my machine. Not quite to the bottom, almost. And now I need to draw some other things that I see, like this thing where the coins go in. What shape is that? It's a circle. Yeah. And then I've got this knob, and it kind of looks like a bow tie. I like to do this with like 3 shapes. I do like an oval, a circle, and another oval. Now it's really nice to take a look at some of the other really cool details that are in this faceplate. So we're going to spend a little time just looking to see what you notice in this faceplate. There's a lot of really cool details in here, and I'm going to turn it so we can see all of those with the light. I want you to spend a minute and draw what you notice. That's what I noticed. Did you notice other things? Different things? When you're done drawing your designs firmly so they're shiny with the silver, you can also spend a minute and color lightly with that silver to make the whole silvery part more silvery. If you color too hard though, those details will be lost again. So either make those details darker or color lightly as you go. When you're happy with your project, it's time to switch to Sharpie. There's some things we haven't drawn yet, so let's add the dark areas of our image. We have the hole where the candy comes out, or the gumball. So we need to draw that. It's like a big rectangle, and you need to color it in because it's dark. If your Sharpie is running out of Sharpie like I am, layer up to make it dark. There are other things too, like the part that pops out. So we're going to extend this little tray all the way to the ground. And we should notice that this line extends over in a curve. So let's add our curve from the edge of the stairs, and then it stops at the edge of the tray and over here as well. Repeating for the bottom of the machine. Bottom line. All right. Ooh, if you notice in here, we have some vertical lines. But those are more like silver lines. Do you notice that? There's a highlight, an area of light. We're going to do those with the silver line. And on this side, they're darker because that area is in shadow. So we're going to do those lines in shadow. What else do we see? I noticed there's some areas of shadow. Any place where there's a shadow, we can add a little line and some marker to help show. There's more at the bottom than there is at the top. So I'm going to do some lines going this way, close together, and it will look like shadow along the edge there. And even on here, see the shadow there? Ooh, now it looks more 3D. What if we go back to the lid? Is there anything up there? Even though this Sharpie is drying out, it actually does a really nice job doing shadows because I don't want those blackest blacks. Are there places of shine on this? I see a shiny spot right here. When you're happy with your work, it's time to cut it out. First job, you want to cut the lid off of the base. And we want to cut the lid out. Remember, keep your scissors straight ahead, turn the paper. All right, now here comes the kind of tricky part. We're not cutting out all the different parts, we're just cutting out the outside part. So this is outside of the base, this is outside of the base, but the base is going to all stay together. So we're not cutting all of the lines, we're just cutting the outside lines. This is a little tricky, but again, keep your scissors straight ahead and turn the paper. Sometimes it's easier to start from the edge and do little cuts. So now we should have a pile of trash, the base, and a lid. And we're ready to glue these together. You'll need a glue stick. The lid should go at the top of the globe where there aren't any gumballs. If you have gumballs all the way up to the top, I guess it's your choice. But I like to put it on the top and then sort of rub it in place so it stays. If you don't rub, the glue might come off. I noticed that a lot with our quilts, is that we weren't really rubbing and our glue came loose. Then the base also gets glued to the globe. Put the glue just at the very tippy top of the base on the back. Then line it up with the globe and again rub. When that's glued, you can take your photo. But remember, this is a weird 3D object, and so when you take your photo, think about what's behind it. Don't put it on a messy table with all your art supplies visible, because it's hard to have a nice photo where we can concentrate on your beautiful art. Put it on the floor or on a table with there's no stuff on it. So find a clear table to take a photo so we can see the whole thing, or better yet, put it on the floor so we're not distracted by the things behind it.